Hello and thanks for tuning in to THV 11 News. I'm Jurnee Taylor. We have a lot to cover this hour. We begin with the three things you need to know right now at noon. Wanted in Central Arkansas. Authorities need your help locating suspects in 2 Central Arkansas homicide investigations. Everything you need to know about the people on your screen in less than 2 minutes. Parts of summer fun for many is spending hours on the water. Unfortunately, some of those outings end in tragedy. The common denominator, alcohol. Just ahead, we take a closer look at how law enforcement is making efforts to raise awareness about the dangers of boating while drinking. And at 12:22, we're sharing everything you need to know about your favorite artist, summer tour schedule, cancellations, and schedules. More in today's entertainment headlines just ahead. But first, we also have our eyes on the skies and meteorologist Nathan Scott. Nathan, I did a little walk around the parking lot right before the show, and I came in a lot faster because it's a little shower. Some showers are moving through.
Yeah, the skies definitely start to look a little threatening out there. Jurnee, good afternoon to you. And we do have a band of showers with some thunder and lightning making its way through parts of the metro at this time. Before I get to that, I want to show you the visible satellite with temperatures because look at this curly Q over into Oklahoma. That is a small area of low pressure that has developed from the complex of showers and storms that blossomed over Oklahoma last night. This system did not weaken as fast as it was expected to. So, therefore, showers have made their way into parts of central Arkansas. I told you there was going to be a chance of scattered showers and storms out there, but I thought it would primarily stay just to the south and west of the metro. Clearly, that's not the case because we've got a boundary that's making its way through Saline County into Pulaski County, so you'll get a quick downpour out there this afternoon. It's not going to rain all afternoon long, but that boundary will continue to shift its way off to the east, and then we'll start to see more sun later this afternoon. So the temperatures are going to be all over the place. If you see more clouds, you're not going to reach probably the upper 80s. But if you see more sun, we may get to 90 here in Little Rock. The big story, though, tomorrow is going to be hotter conditions and also your feels like numbers really skyrocket. I'll have more on that forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Nathan. We begin this afternoon in southeast Arkansas, where a Star City man is behind bars accused of threatening a judge. Monday, officers arrested 43-year-old Gordon Pickens after he allegedly posted a concerning message on Facebook targeting Judge Robert Wyatt. Law enforcement agents say they tracked Pickens to an apartment in Benton. There, they waited until he left in a vehicle with fake license plates, at which point they stopped him and arrested him without incident. He's being held on a felony charge of threatening a judicial official. Meanwhile, police in North Little Rock are asking for help finding a 17-year-old wanted for murder this afternoon. This man, Denedrick Donaldson Jr., is wanted for capital murder. He's wanted for a killing back on May 23rd on North Palm Street. That is just east or north of East Broadway. Police say Donaldson should be considered armed and dangerous. If you know anything about his whereabouts, you're asked to call police. And right now, U.S. Marshals are joining the search for the person who killed a man outside the Ronald McDonald House. Police believe this woman here, Carisha Grisby, is responsible for the killing. Last month, we told you about the death of Devon Jones of Forest City. Jones was killed while he and his family were staying at the Ronald McDonald House. The U.S. Marshal says Grisby should be considered armed and dangerous as well. Well, now to a THV 11 update. Arkansan Richard Barnett has filed a request to appeal this after being found guilty for his role in the January 6th Capitol invasion. Barnett was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison back in May. Photos of him in Nancy Pelosi's office made him one of the most memorable figures from the invasion. And this afternoon, we are still following the homicide investigation at the Sheridan Heights apartments. First responders stayed at the Sheridan Heights estates for hours after a 911 call, which came around 3 p.m. When officers arrived, they found someone outside that had been shot along with a suspect. Police then went to the suspect's apartment where they found a fire and a dead body. The suspect was then taken into custody once the fire was out, and some neighbors saw the scene unfold.
I heard the screaming, and about that time looked, and here he come. He was leaned over, and he was hollering, "He shot me, he shot me."
Now, neighbors say this is a typically pretty quiet area and close-knit community. and that Monday was a very difficult day for everyone, to say the least. 911 dispatch centers across the state will be changing in the next couple of years. That's because many agencies are in the process of consolidating. According to the Arkansas 911 Board, this shift is a step in the right direction. By having less dispatch centers in each county, they expect faster response times and less call transfers to other dispatchers. The board's ultimate goal is to have only one dispatch center in most counties, depending on their population.
I think it's the right time and that it's going to be a benefit for all of us moving forward.
Now, according to the board, they're going to go from having 98 call centers to 82 across the state. The 911 board's deadline for the dispatch center consolidation is January 2025. The Arkansas Department of Education Summit continues today in Hot Springs. Education Secretary Jacob Oliva spoke on Monday. He gave educators an overview of new academic standards and student assessment under Arkansas Learns, among other things. This morning, Governor Sarah Sanders gave an address, and that was live streamed on Facebook Live. Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin just signed onto a letter to Target, warning the retailer of its Pride clothing collection. Republican attorneys general from 7 states signed the letter, writing that they were concerned with the company's Pride campaign. Their attorneys said that they believe the campaign was a, quote, comprehensive effort to promote gender and sexual identity among children, end quote. Now, the letter also criticized Target for donating to GLSEN, an organization that works to end bullying in schools based on sexual and gender identity. President Biden is hailing the NATO summit that's underway in Lithuania as a historic moment following an agreement to allow Sweden to join the alliance. The Biden administration says having first Finland and now Sweden become part of the alliance sends a strong message to Russian President Vladimir Putin that NATO is more united than ever. Tina Krause reports.
We will soon also be welcoming Sweden as a full-fledged member, so welcome to you.
President Biden cheered alongside his NATO allies after the Secretary General opened the NATO summit in Lithuania, announcing Sweden is next on deck to join the alliance after Finland became a member in April.
This is a historic moment, the adding of Finland and Sweden to NATO is consequential.
The breakthrough came after Turkey dropped its objection to Sweden's bid. The Biden administration says it sends a signal to Russian President Vladimir Putin that his unprovoked war in Ukraine has united the West against him.
It's sending a very strong message to Putin that he's not going to outlast us. He's not going to outlast Ukraine. And the sooner he ends this war of aggression, the better.
But NATO's 31 nations are divided on how and when Ukraine might join their ranks. President Biden says the war needs to end first, or other countries risk being pulled into the conflict. Leaders say they'll unveil a long-awaited reform path that Ukraine can take for eventual membership. But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had harsh words for NATO members, calling it unprecedented and absurd that there is no timetable for his country's entry. President Biden and Zelensky will meet one-on-one at the summit tomorrow. Tina Krause, CBS News.
And national news, New England continuing to be overwhelmed by intense floods. Emergency crews in Vermont conducted more than 50 rescues. Right now, storm and flood alerts are in effect for a large chunk of Vermont and New Hampshire. Amazon Prime Day is underway. The 2-day discount event is expected to lure buyers in search of big bargains. This year, Amazon is offering invite-only deals for some of its hottest products that it believes will sell out quickly. And we've been following the developments, and it looks like employees for one of the country's largest shipping companies could be on strike in just a few weeks. Contract negotiations between UPS and the union representing drivers and other workers are at a standstill. 97% of unionized employees voted in favor of going on strike if a deal isn't reached by the end of this month. Compromises have been made, but the union is still looking for pay increases for both full and part-time workers. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien wants UPS to reward its employees for working throughout the COVID-19 pandemic.
If it wasn't for the part-timers, if it wasn't for the full-timers, this country wouldn't have ran through the pandemic. And UPS made $100 billion, so they certainly can afford to reward these people that made them a tremendous success.
UPS workers went on strike back in 1997, leading to a 2-week shutdown in operations. Well, still to come, we're taking a closer look at the leading cause of fatal boating accidents, drinking while driving. Safety tips we hope you'll never forget at 12:12. But first, let's go to Nathan in the Weather Center for our updated forecast.
The skies are dark here in downtown Little Rock, Jurnee, as a band of showers and even a few thunderstorms are making their way through parts of central Arkansas. I'll have a live look at radar and let you know how long this will be sticking around coming up.